There are moments in life that hit you like a freight train. Moments where everything you thought was solid, everything you believed in, shatters in a heartbeat. Imagine standing in the shower, lost in the steam, thinking everything's fine, only for your world to fall apart with one simple question. This isn't just any story. This is the moment my wife asked me, "Can I meet Peter?"
It was just another Tuesday evening. I was in the shower, letting the hot water wash away the day's fatigue. I'd been married to Anna for 5 years, 5 years of love, laughter, and shared memories. The kind of marriage where you don't question the little things, the routine, the trust you think you've built. I thought we were solid. But that night, the air in our home felt different. Something was off. And I didn't know it then, but it would change everything. Her voice sounded normal, maybe too normal. She always had that soft, reassuring tone. It was her way of making things feel safe, even when they weren't. But this time there was something almost too calculated about the calm in her voice. It felt like she was preparing me for something I couldn't yet comprehend. "Hey, can I ask you something?" I thought nothing of it at first. I was focused on the warm water cascading over me, letting it dull my thoughts. But then she said it. The words that would haunt me forever. "Can I meet Peter?" Peter? The name hit me like a punch to the gut. Who was Peter? I didn't know anyone by that name. Not anyone important, at least. Certainly not anyone Anna would want to meet. I turned off the water, the sound of it stopping a little too abruptly. The silence was deafening. I could feel the cold creeping into my skin as the steam began to fade, but I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about what she had just asked me. "Can I meet Peter?" She said it again, as if it was nothing. Like it was a simple request, no more significant than asking for a cup of coffee. I stepped out of the shower, dripping water onto the bathroom floor. My mind raced, but I couldn't find the words. I needed answers, but I was terrified to ask the question that had already lodged itself deep in my chest. "Who's Peter?" I finally managed to ask, my voice low, barely above a whisper. "You don't need to know him. It's just someone I've been talking to. Someone I think I should meet, in person." My stomach dropped. I tried to maintain my composure, to play it cool, but inside, everything was unraveling. She hadn't just mentioned Peter casually. The way she spoke, too calm, too controlled, was as if she knew I wouldn't ask too many questions. She knew she was treading into dangerous territory, yet there was no hesitation in her words. It was like she had been expecting this moment, had prepared herself for it. And I was left standing there, lost in my own confusion. But I had to. I had to know. I stared at her, the room spinning. My mind kept replaying the question over and over. "Can I meet Peter?" It was as if she was asking for permission, or maybe testing my boundaries, seeing how far she could push. And I was scared. Scared of what it meant, scared of what it could reveal. But I couldn't ignore it anymore. My heart hammered in my chest. I needed the truth, even if I wasn't sure I wanted it. I tried to remember the good times, the days when everything felt right, when Anna's smile was the only thing that mattered. But in the pit of my stomach, I knew something had shifted. There was an emptiness I hadn't noticed before, a distance that had crept in over time. I thought I was blind to it, but now it was undeniable. And as much as I wanted to pretend I hadn't heard what she said, I couldn't ignore it any longer. The realization hit me that maybe I'd been blind to something much darker brewing beneath the surface all along. I looked at her again, studying her face, trying to make sense of this strange calmness. Something about her had changed. Maybe it was the way she wasn't looking at me anymore, the way she seemed distant, almost like she was already far away, emotionally checked out. "Who is he, Anna? Really?" I asked, my voice trembling with uncertainty. "He's someone I've been talking to for a while. Someone who understands me in ways you don't anymore." The words hit harder than I could ever have imagined. My heart sank, my breath caught in my throat. Anna, the woman I loved, had found someone else. She had already started to leave, long before I even noticed. The realization that I wasn't enough, that someone else had stepped into the space I thought was just for us, crushed me. There's nothing more painful than realizing the person you loved has already moved on. It's as if someone's stolen a part of you while you were still asleep. She didn't want Peter to be a secret anymore. The truth was finally out, spilling from her lips like a confession she had been waiting years to make. I couldn't stop myself from feeling 1,000 things at once: betrayal, confusion, rage, sadness, all churning together. But in that moment, something in me shifted. The pain, oh, it was still there, raw and unrelenting, but a cold fire lit in my chest. I had been the one who was betrayed. I had been the one left in the dark. But now I had the truth. And with that truth came power. Power that I hadn't felt in months. I wasn't just the victim anymore. "Anna," I said, my voice suddenly calm, dangerously calm, "you want to meet Peter? Fine. You can. But first you're going to hear what I have to say. And then you'll understand the consequences of your choices." She stared at me, confused, maybe even a little afraid, but I didn't care. This was no longer about her. It was about me reclaiming my dignity, my strength, and taking control of the narrative that she'd already written behind my back. I didn't shout. I didn't cry. Instead, I turned and walked out of the room, leaving her standing there, bewildered. I'd known for a while that the love we shared had been eroding, that trust was slipping through the cracks, but I'd been too afraid to face it. Now? Now I would face it head on. I arranged for a meeting with Peter. I wasn't looking for violence. I wasn't looking for a confrontation. What I wanted was to see him face to face, to understand who this person was that had slowly invaded my marriage. And when I met him, I saw everything I needed to see. He wasn't some great, unassuming figure. No. He was a man who thought he could take something that wasn't his. A man who didn't know the first thing about loyalty or respect. I didn't need to fight him. I didn't need to prove anything. The truth was already out. I simply made it clear, both to him and to Anna, that this betrayal wouldn't go unpunished. I didn't walk away broken. I walked away empowered. And as for Anna, she left shortly after that meeting, her eyes wide with the realization that the person she thought she could walk all over wasn't going to stay down. I made sure she knew that I had no room for someone who could betray me and expect nothing to change. As for Peter, I don't know what happened to him, but I've moved on, with my life, with my strength. And while I'll never forget the pain of that moment, I'll never forget the satisfaction of taking control back. Trust is everything. But once it's gone, it's hard to get back. And I learned that lesson the hardest way. But now I have peace. Because sometimes revenge isn't about what you do, it's about what you don't do. You don't let them have power over you anymore. You walk away stronger. And that, in the end, is the sweetest revenge of all. If you've ever been through something like this, share your story in the comments. Let's talk about the things we don't always say out loud. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories that make you question everything. Because life can change in an instant, and sometimes the answers you seek might be more painful than you ever imagined. But in the end, you'll come out the other side stronger.